gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. Illinois lawmakers are pressing to end chaotic megamaster immigration hearings, while Chicago's teachers' union files a defamation suit against the Policy Institute. Traffic is heavy across the city, and the original rainbow cone celebrates a century of sweet tradition. Over to you, Miles.
The Chicago Botanic Garden will host a free butterfly release next Saturday on the South Side, featuring live music, crafts, and educational talks about pollinators.
The Hyde Park Summer Jazz Series returns Thursday evening at the historic 57th Street Beach, offering 2-hour-long performances by local ensembles. Free admission for all.
The Logan Square Farmers Market expands Saturday hours, now operating from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., featuring organic produce, artisanal breads, and live cooking demonstrations.
Lots to get to. Let's begin our news hour with the stories that matter to every Chicago neighborhood today. Here are our top stories. Illinois senators and representatives, including Senator Durbin and Rep. Krishnamurthy, are urging an end to the chaotic megamaster immigration hearings that have flooded Chicago courts and left many migrants missing their dates. Imani Whitfield has the full story.
Lawmakers in Illinois are pressing for an immediate halt to the so-called megamaster hearings that have been filling Chicago's immigration courtroom. Senator Dick Durbin, Representative Raja Krishnamurthy, and the state's Democratic congressional delegation say the bulk scheduling method has turned the docket into chaos, leaving a surge of applicants unable to appear before a judge. They argue the practice speeds removals without giving people a fair chance to present their cases, undermining due process. Critics have warned that the overload threatens to flood the system and raise the risk of deportations. They point to record numbers of immigrants who have missed their appointments, saying the approach appears designed to accelerate mass removals at the expense of fairness. Imani Whitfield, GMNA News, Chicago.
Chicago Teachers Union has filed a defamation lawsuit against the Illinois Policy Institute, alleging the conservative think tank spread false audit findings that damaged the union's reputation. The legal action, filed today in Cook County Court, asserts that the institute's report claimed financial misconduct without evidence, prompting the union to seek damages and a court order to cease the allegations. Union officials say the audit's accusations threaten their ability to negotiate contracts and maintain public trust. The institute, which released the audit last month, has not responded publicly to the filing. Court filings indicate the case will proceed through the Illinois judicial system, with both sides preparing for a potentially protracted legal battle. The lawsuit underscores ongoing tensions between labor groups and policy organizations over accountability and public perception. The case remains open as arguments develop.
U.S. News & World Report unveiled its 2026 to 2027 Best High Schools rankings today, placing 5 Chicago area schools inside the top 100 nationwide. The list evaluated nearly 18,000 public high schools across the country, highlighting the strong performance of Northside College Preparatory and 4 other local schools. Officials said the rankings reflect steady gains in college readiness, graduation rates, and advanced coursework. City leaders praised the achievement, noting it underscores the dedication of teachers, families, and students throughout the South Side, North Side, and West Side. While the full list includes schools from every region, Chicago's presence in the elite group marks a notable milestone for the district's ongoing improvement efforts. The rankings will be posted on U.S. News's website later this week for parents and community members to review.
An employee with DuPage Public Safety Communications inadvertently set off tornado sirens during a scheduled overnight test at 3 a.m. on August 18th, causing confusion across multiple suburbs. Roman Zabel has the full story.
At 3 a.m. on August 18th, an employee at DuPage Public Safety Communications unintentionally set off the county's tornado sirens while running a routine test of the weather alert system. The activation rippled through the suburbs, sounding alarms in places from Naperville to Wheaton and stirring confusion among residents still asleep. Staff had been preparing a scheduled drill when a single misstep triggered the full siren network. County officials confirmed the false alarm and quickly began the shutdown process, assuring the public the incident was a technical error, not a weather threat. No injuries were reported, and local fire and police units remained on standby throughout the brief disruption. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, Naperville.
Curve Industrial has filed a revised redevelopment proposal for the former Ford City Mall, set for a city hearing Thursday, August 19th. The updated plan adds a public plaza and a new CTA bus stop, aiming to strengthen support as the developer seeks the first municipal approvals for a 4-building industrial campus. The Chicago Plan Commission will review the submission, while the Chicago Transit Authority is reviewing the proposed bus stop location. The mall, closed for years, is slated for demolition and replacement with the industrial complex if the commission signs off. Officials say the added public amenities are intended to improve the project's chances of moving forward. City staff will present the revised package to commissioners on Thursday, and a decision is expected after the hearing. Stakeholders will watch the outcome closely as the site could reshape the West Side industrial landscape. Later we'll see how the CTA expands frequent network with 4 new bus routes, improving rides across the city. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. The Chicago Transit Authority is set to widen its frequent network this Sunday, rolling out 10-minute or better service on 4 more bus routes. 3 of those routes will begin Saturday night service on Sunday, while a 4th will join the lineup in December. When the expansion is complete, the frequent network will cover 24 routes citywide, building on the high-frequency program that launched in 2025. Riders can expect buses arriving every 10 minutes or less, a boost for commuters along the new corridors. The CTA says the added routes were chosen to close gaps in service and improve connectivity across the north, west, and south sides. Officials will monitor on-time performance as the new schedules go live, aiming to keep Chicago moving smoothly. The frequent network, introduced in 2025, was designed to give riders reliable, short-wait service, and the latest edition keeps that promise alive.
Police have arrested a suspect captured on security video stealing clothing, trying it on and eating inside the Macy's on State Street Thursday night. The arrest follows the June 28th incident. Imani Whitfield has the full story.
Security cameras caught a lone shopper roaming the downtown Macy's on State Street after hours, slipping into the apparel aisles, snatching several garments, and slipping into a changing area to try them on. The suspect then moved to the food court, where they opened a pack of snacks and began eating on the floor before store staff discovered the disturbance. Police responded after the footage was reviewed, locating the individual in the building and taking them into custody without incident. The incident unfolded on June 28, 2026, prompting the Chicago Police Department's downtown precinct to dispatch officers to the Loop location. Store management confirmed no injuries and said the stolen items were recovered. Imani Whitfield, GMNA News, Loop.
Former Cook County Commissioner John Boykin will file a formal complaint with the County Inspector General today, accusing Treasurer Maria Pappas of intimidation and official misconduct. Boykin says the grievance stems from a disputed letter that surfaced during the ongoing Chicago mayoral race, alleging the treasurer used her office to influence the campaign. The complaint requests a thorough investigation into whether Pappas breached ethical guidelines or abused her authority. County officials have not commented on the pending filing, and the Inspector General's office is expected to review the allegations under standard procedures. The case adds another layer of tension to a heated municipal election season, where questions of transparency and political maneuvering have already dominated headlines across the city. The filing arrives as the city grapples with a flurry of campaign finance disclosures, and both parties have pledged to cooperate with any probe.
Police arrested 16 teenagers Tuesday night after a trespassing call led officers to an illegal rave inside the abandoned Congress Theater on the 2100 block north of Milwaukee Avenue in Logan Square. The raid took place shortly after 8:15 p.m. when detectives found the youths dancing in the vacant auditorium. All 16 detainees, ages ranging from early teens to late teens, were charged with trespassing. The theater, shuttered by police about a week earlier following a separate unauthorized party, has drawn renewed scrutiny from city officials concerned about safety and noise in the neighborhood. Chicago Police Department spokesperson said the operation was part of an ongoing effort to curb illicit gatherings in vacant properties. The teens now face court dates later this month. They were taken to the downtown Central Station for booking and released on bond pending arraignment.
A growing roster of individuals have announced, or are weighing, a bid for Chicago's mayoral race slated for later this year, signaling early momentum in the 2026 contest. Grady Sokolowski has the full story.
City Hall's courtyard is already buzzing with fresh campaign paraphernalia, newly printed flyers, modest yard signs, and a handful of volunteers handing out literature as the mayoral race heats up for the election later in 2026. A former alderman has formally announced his intent to run, while a community activist and a local business leader are weighing their options, each saying they'll decide in the coming weeks. Party officials say they're monitoring the field, noting that several more names could surface before filing deadlines close. Voters can expect a crowded ballot with a mix of seasoned politicians and newcomers vying for the city's top office. Grady Sokolowski, GMNA News, Chicago.
Let's get a look at your evening forecast with our meteorologist for tonight. A mid-level jet streak slicing the Great Lakes fuels tonight's lingering clouds and a slow pressure dip. On this date, Chicago's all-time high reached 88 degrees in 2015, set during a late summer heat wave that pushed the Mid-South into record territory. The low fell to 49 degrees in 2025, a surprise cold snap that arrived as a strong cold front slipped through the plains. By contrast, today's climatological average high sits near 80 degrees and the average low around 60 degrees. Those normals illustrate how today's temperature of 79 feels modest against the record high, yet still well above the historic low. The live radar shows a quiet canvas across the basin, no rain echoes from the west or the lake. A shallow, high-pressure ridge holds the air stable, while the jet stream at 890 miles per hour rides aloft, suppressing upward motion. With no moisture forcing, the overcast deck will linger a few more hours before clearing as the ridge drifts east after midnight. That brings us back to the evening outlook. At 6 p.m., the city sits under a thick overcast with a temperature of 79 degrees, humidity 68%, and a gentle southwest wind at 10 miles per hour. Pressure is near average, but easing lower, signaling a gradual shift toward unsettled conditions as the jet stream rides overhead at 89 miles per hour from the west. That jet stream channels cooler air aloft, keeping the clouds in place and limiting any daytime heating. Tonight's temperature will drift down to 64 as radiational cooling takes over, while winds remain light. UV index earlier peaked at 7, and no weather alerts are active. With the ridge expected to retreat, the sky should clear shortly after midnight, ushering a crisp finish to the night. Looking ahead, Wednesday brings a modest dip to a high of 77 and a low of 64, with overcast skies and a 35% chance of rain as a lingering trough nudges a few showers into the metro area. Thursday clears out, delivering a high of 75 and a low of 66 under a building ridge, so expect dry conditions and pleasant breezes. Friday repeats the clear pattern with a high of 79 and a low of 66, though a 20% rain probability hints at isolated sprinkles late in the day. Saturday and Sunday remain dry, both holding highs of 75 and lows in the high 60s, offering a steady, mild stretch as the jet stream settles northward. No alerts are in effect, and temperature swings stay within a comfortable range. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll break down today's traffic snarls, highlight the original rainbow cone celebrates 100 years, and revisit a White Sox moment. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Serious crash on Roosevelt Road near State Street is the biggest holdup this evening. Lane closures keep traffic crawling through the South Loop and force a detour onto Michigan Avenue and Wabash. Expect delays of at least 15 minutes on the Dan Ryan Expressway southbound as drivers feed into the bottleneck. State Street between Randolph and Wacker stays closed for construction, so north-south traffic is shifting onto LaSalle and Clark. Those streets move, but expect stopped cars at the Washington intersection. On the CTA side, the 82 bus runs a temporary loop through Kimball, Addison, Kedzie, and Irving Park. The 12, 18, and 192 routes are detoured around the crash, adding a few extra stops. Loop elevated trains run a weekend reroute while State Lake Station work continues, with trains bypassing the station on the south side. Aside from the South Loop gridlock, arteries are clear, but keep an eye on western side where construction slows traffic.
Chicago Air and Water Show 2026 lights up the lakefront this weekend, with daring pilots and splashy aerobatics that turn the shoreline into a front row seat for the whole city and families alike. Sound and Gravity Festival spreads across Athenaeum Center, Beat Kitchen, Constellation, and more from early September 3rd through 6th, offering experimental sounds and local bites. For story lovers, Chicago Story Fest will spotlight the theme villains on September 18th at the Athenaeum Center, a single night of live storytelling. Anatomy of a Suicide runs now through August 30th at the Metal Shop Performance Lab and Junkart Theater inside Red Twist Theater, a raw piece that asks tough questions about mental health. And Grant Park's free dance series keeps the summer rhythm alive with salsa, samba, and Chicago stepping classes, inviting anyone to move under the park's open sky in the heart of the city. And now here's Theo with sports.
Crosstown drama, historic flashbacks, and a vote shaping Chicago's future. 6 years ago, Tim Anderson launched a leadoff homer that rewrote the record books, a reminder of the Sox's power at the top of the order. And back in 1910, Red Faber tossed a perfect game for Dubuque, a prelude to his Hall of Fame career with Chicago. Blackhawks fans are now casting ballots for the 2026 Top 25 Under 25 list, a community-driven ranking that spotlights the league's rising talent. Your vote will shape the final slate, giving young Chicago players a spotlight as the offseason builds toward next season's roster battles. The Crosstown Classic opener ended in a soul-crushing extra-inning walk-off as the Cubs edged the White Sox 7-5. Despite Andrew Benintendi's late heroics, poor challenge usage and sloppy defense cost Chicago's Southsiders, underscoring the rivalry's fine margins as the series continues. Fans are buzzing for the Bears' preseason showdown with the Bengals, eager to see how rookie wideouts and the revamped defensive front perform. The preseason stage offers a first look at Morris Alexander's playmaking after his recent touchdown, setting expectations for the regular season battle. Cubs and White Sox fans can catch the Monday night showdown live at 7:05 Central, a marquee clash that fuels the city's baseball rivalry. Tune in for the latest pitching duels and the chance to see who gains momentum as the season's final stretch approaches. Luis Castillo makes his first crosstown start tonight, anchoring the White Sox rotation against the Cubs at Wrigley. Chicago's Southsiders entered the series with a first-half edge, while the Cubs have dropped 3 of their last 4, making this matchup a pivotal test for both clubs. Stay tuned, Chicago. The season's pulse keeps beating across every arena.
Thanks, Theo. The original Rainbow Cone tucked into Beverly marked its 100th year this past Sunday with a celebration at the shop. Longtime fans gathered for a ribbon cutting of a limited edition Centennial Swirl, while staff served the 5-flavor cone that has been a summer staple since 1922. The event featured stories from original employees, a photo exhibit of the cone's evolution, and a chorus of neighbors sharing why the treat feels like a piece of home. In a city that constantly reinvents itself, the cone reminds us that simple, honest flavor can knit generations together, keeping Chicago sweet-toothed and proud. The event partnered with a local youth sports league, donating a portion of sales to keep fields alive, reinforcing the shop's role as community hub. Stay tuned as we discuss Tuesday's severe thunderstorm risk and the critical near West Side shooting update coming up next. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Chicago faces a low and severe thunderstorm risk Tuesday afternoon, with meteorologists expecting multiple rounds of storms after 4. Potential hazards remain. Kevin Jeans has the full story.
Kevin Jeans of NBC5's Storm Team says forecasters are seeing a low-end risk of severe weather as a series of thunderstorm cells moves across the city Tuesday afternoon. The models show the first round arriving just after 4 p.m., with additional bands developing through the evening hours. While the outlook stops short of issuing a tornado watch, the storms could produce strong gusts, hail the size of golf balls, and downpours that will affect neighborhoods from the Loop out to the far south side. The team is watching a weak low-pressure system pulling moisture from the Great Lakes, boosting instability. Expect the most intense activity between 5 and 7 p.m. when surface heating peaks. The forecast calls for scattered lightning and power outages. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, Chicago.
Police say a 28-year-old man was shot early Tuesday on the first block of North Leavitt Street, near West Side, and is now in critical condition at Strother Hospital. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
Police responded to a gunshot call just after 3:05 a.m. on the first block of North Leavitt Street, where officers found a 28-year-old man lying on the sidewalk, bleeding heavily. Detectives from Area 3 took statements while emergency crews worked to stop the bleeding. The victim was rushed to Strother Hospital, where doctors say he remains in critical condition. Witnesses reported hearing multiple shots, but no arrests have been made and investigators are still canvassing the area for clues. Blue and red lights painted the brick facades, while a paramedic team worked under a portable canopy. Detectives are reviewing surveillance footage from nearby businesses as the scene stays cordoned off. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, near West Side.
Thank you, Chicago, for joining us on the local sunset. Tonight's look at the unexpected tornado siren test reminded us how quickly a quiet night can turn into a citywide alert. We appreciate your trust and will be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to our neighborhoods. See you then.